You are listening to the Ranges podcast.
Babel. We were excited.
Yeah, we were excited. So we'd ended 2018 on the high notes of having 2 tours and doing the Ranges in Motion dance thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big year, and then went dark the very end of the year,
Right.
transitioning into 2019. And at this point, we'd been writing Babel. I don't remember when we started writing Babel, but it might have even been before we went on tour with
The American tour.
Yeah. So no, you're right. It was right when we came back from Dunk, 2018. I remember the first thing we wrote was the closing track because I think we'd played Dunk Festival, had that feeling of playing a huge stage with a huge crowd. I'm like, oh, we need bigger, heavier music to perform
for that kind of stage.
Yeah. That was what I remember coming back, and that was the focus of the next album, which we knew was going to be Babel, was just let's write an album that was going to just translate really well live.
Yeah, I remember that too. And therefore wanting to record it as big as it could be.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we'd spent the most of 2018, half of it at least, writing it.
Right.
I don't remember the conversation about recording it, but we all agreed that we didn't want to record it where we'd always record it, which was right here in the basement.
Yeah, we wanted to try to go to, a bigger studio with maybe another producer to relieve you of the responsibility of being in the band, writing music, playing guitar, recording everybody and everything, mixing it. Everything that you had done previously outside of mastering it, and then let you just concentrate on the music and let someone else have the duties of recording it. And that's when there was talk of different engineers.
I don't remember the lists we built. I don't think I had anybody in particular that I didn't really care. I just wanted everybody to be on the same page.
I did.
Yeah. Do you remember who you wanted to go to?
I wanted to go to Steve Albini.
Okay, yeah.
I wanted to go to Albini again because I promised him, not that he would remember. Really? Well, it wasn't a promise to him per se, but I did say to him, I would like to come back with another band one day and record with you. And he said, sure, man. That would be great. Just,
okay.
Let me know.
So he was on the list. Do you have any other ones?
Did I? No.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to Albini. I wanted to go to Electrical Audio in Chicago. And then Joey had Will Yip. That was on his list.
Had Caspian just recorded with him? Or
had they done it yet? Turnstile recorded with Will Yip for Time and
I
Space.
Didn't know that.
That record that they put out while we were doing The Ascensionist.
Okay.
The one that I referred to earlier in our conversation about Turnstile. And I thought that album sounds great. I'd be down with that too. That would be cool to, have a guy that works with bands like that and then work with our band, because I thought that would give us, maybe a little bit of a different sound. From other bands and closer to what we were doing. And then Joey also already knew about Chris Common.
Right.
And, who he'd worked with and played with. And I think after that initial conversation, Joey reached out to Chris.
Right.
And I think the response that he got from Chris was really positive.
Right. I guess we just believed that Chris was good at the rhythm, drums and bass. Like he was good at getting good tones out of that. And that, for whatever reason, after playing Dunk, coming home, we wanted to do an album that was more drums, bass driven.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if Babel actually was that, but Chris had a track record of doing albums that had the low end that we really liked.
Oh, yeah.
Did you listen to that A Hope for Home album that he did?
No.
Yeah. I really liked that. So when Joey mentioned that Chris had done that album, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I'm in on that. That sounds great. Yeah. So I don't remember when, but we had made the decision that we were going to go with Chris. So I think we had probably scheduled time loosely, and he was located in El Paso. maybe that was because he worked closely with Omar Rodriguez.
Yeah.
That's probably why he was in El Paso, because he was kind of like the on-call engineer, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So
He was living with him.
Oh, was he living with him?
Yeah. They were roommates.
So whenever Omar needed to record something, like Chris was on call.
Yep. That is the case.
Yeah. So
I
think that's why he was in El Paso.
Yeah.
But I mean, going to El Paso and like spending 2 weeks recording there, that sounded great to me. I was on board.
Well, just to get out of town too, and
right?
Concentrate on making a record.
Yeah. And
without any distractions of work or anything.
Which we'd never done. It was always just write an album and then record it on the weekends when we could. There was really no taking time off from work and like dedicating a chunk of time to recording. So after The Ascensionist and I think where we went as a band, it just felt like we were a real band now. Actually, we'd done it. We've gotten to the point where it felt right to record an album like a real band, which is taking time out of our schedules, blocking out this chunk of time, going somewhere, working with somebody who was a recording engineer. It just made sense. So that was the plan. And then it was, okay, let's write the best album that we possibly can. And so Babel was the concept that I think Wilson and I had been talking about for quite a while. It's just, it's such a great biblical story of trying to build a tower to heaven and reach God, and that it didn't work out. That the long story short was the way in which people communicated was the language was changed, language barriers were introduced, and no longer could they communicate with one another to reach heaven. That's the gist of the story.
Right.
If you don't know it, look it up.
Yeah. It's a good one. I had to.
And then also, too, Babel is an octave above Solar Mansions. So The Ascensionist was the return to the mountain, the return to Montana, and was the octave above Absaroka. And then Solar Mansions is our second album. And so the idea then was, as we're in the second octave of writing music as Ranges, was to mirror the album previous that was the second album, which was Solar Mansions. So there were 12 songs on Solar Mansions. So I think that's probably why we chose to do 12 songs for Babel. I don't think there was any other conceptual reason for it. So each song on Babel was also like tied to the Zodiac in a similar way. I can't quite remember exactly how it was tied into it, but I know that was part of the concept of like taking the Zodiac and, adding on to that concept with the concept of Babel. And then, I mean, the concept is literally the story of the Tower of Babel, and that was the idea. Which, as I think we discussed this, we'll see. I really feel like we lived out the concept with this album. Like we were trying to build the coolest album, go as far as we possibly could, and just like do it to its fullest extent. And there were so many things along the way that just like it didn't go as planned at all. It was a lot of curveballs that were thrown our way.
Yep.
Which makes it cool. It's like nobody else knows that but the 5 of us that were part of writing it and making it a reality.
Yeah.
Like, it totally mirrored the Tower of Babel story, which it's super cool just from the inside. I don't know how it looks on the outside, but so we'd gone dark on social media the first of the year and were quiet until March 30th. Didn't post anything, didn't share anything. It was just, we were just focused on writing. And from my perspective, we hammered these songs to death. Like we had 2 giant whiteboards up because we'd moved into the shop, the old 1,000 Arms shop. And so we had 2 giant whiteboards that were probably 10 feet by 4 feet and just like mapped out every song. And we picked every part apart. Every fill was analyzed. Every guitar lead was analyzed. Everything. I mean, we just hammered the hell out of this thing.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah. I watched back on some of the making of videos this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just to hear like the dialogue that we had, and we didn't know at the time, but this is the last album we ever wrote as a full band.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and we didn't know it at the time, but
no.
Yeah, I mean it was very much. I mean, there's video of us hammering out parts where you're making the eye contact with everybody. It's like, is this it? It's like, oh yeah, this is it, and like that's such a fun experience when you have that chemistry with.
I do remember some of that now.
Yeah, I mean, musically, I definitely think this was the album that we we worked on really, really hard. I know we all upgraded gear. You were starting when we started writing it. You had the old Mapex kit, and then before we recorded, you bought the new Ludwig kit.
That's right.
Yeah, and I had been playing on a Fender DeVille up to this point, and Joey had just bought the orange.
Oh, right.
He got the MK3, the Rock Reverb 100 MK3, and so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to get that too. I got the MK2. But yeah, we upgraded our amps, and Jared had been playing on Ethan's old bass head. Do you remember that amp peg that weighed like 600 pounds?
Oh my God, that thing was awful. Oh.
Yeah, so and we sold that and got a dark glass that we've used ever since. Like this was really the turning point of the Ascensionist. Was the process of the band going from zero to whatever. Like we're like on the map now, and that was like, all right, we're on the map. We have to like
upgrade the gear.
Yeah, we got to be
to match it.
Exactly.
Yep.
So we all upgraded our gear and really went for it.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Gear is helpful. Good gear is helpful.
Yeah, and I don't think you or I are really gearheads.
No.
Like, we're more about the music than the gear.
Yeah.
But like Joey, he's kind of a gearhead, but not.
Definitely.
He's a music guy too. Like, he's kind of like both worlds.
No, he's all in on both.
Yeah.
He does the research.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And if he hears something that he likes, he found out how they made that sound.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So me, I just hit things.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's good to have that guy in the band that can like help you get better tones out of your stuff.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, and that's not really your focus.
No.
So he was good for that.
No, but it made a lasting impression because now I actually do think a little bit more about it.
Right. Yeah. So we'd upgraded the gear. We'd booked the studio time. We'd written the songs. And at some point during the writing process, I think that it had dawned on me regarding the concept of confusion of tongues, which is the extension of Babel. And I don't think I actually explained this to you guys until we were in El Paso. Is that true? Or had you heard of my thinking on this before?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because we'd introduced the calendars, and we haven't talked about the calendars on the podcast yet. So the calendar being, we'd created Currency, the Æterno, as a different way to buy Ranges merch. We started the Gods of the Marketplace website as a different place to buy Ranges merch. And so I came up with the idea of like, what if we built a new timeline? What if there's a new calendar? What if there's a way to map out the next year of activities and merch and new releases? And we put all of this on a calendar to where if you can get the calendar and you figure out how to decode it, you can then see the future of what's coming from Ranges. Like, that was the idea. And so we hashed out the layout for that using like the Fibonacci sequence and like octaves instead of months, and it came together pretty easily. Like it was fun to put together, and we rolled that out at some point in 2019, I think, for the first time. And
well, wouldn't it have been around March?
Yeah, because March 30th is the first day of the Ranges calendar every year. Yeah, I don't remember if we'd put that out before. I think we did.
I didn't have any input.
I mean, you just trusted that we knew what we were doing.
Oh yeah. Well, the fact is, I didn't understand enough to know you wouldn't know what you were doing. It all looked legit to me. All the fucking shapes and numbers and weird fucking squiggly things.
That's true. There's plenty
and
of that.
They landed, and then other people in the world got it.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
The fact that people figured it out.
Yeah.
But I can't quite remember how the timeline worked on this, because I'm pretty sure the calendar laid out dates that were 3:30, the beginning of the calendar year for the Ranges calendar, 3:30, 6:30, 9:30, and 12:30.
That I remember.
Yeah. And so Babel was supposed to come out, September 30th.
Yeah, 9:30.
Yeah.
That I remember.
And so the idea was to write 12 songs for Babel.
Right.
And then withhold 3 of them. So 9 songs would be on actual Babel.
Yeah.
And then the 3 songs would be released later.
Yeah.
On 3 different LPs. which is ridiculous from a manufacturing and financial aspect when you think about it. And so the idea was to release a deluxe edition of Babel that if you bought the deluxe edition of Babel, you wouldn't know it at the time, but on 12/30, 3/30, and 6/30, so 12/30 of 2019, so 3 months after Babel comes out, you would just get an LP in the mail that was one of the extra songs that was part of Babel. And then on 3/30 of 2020, you'd get the second LP. And then on 6/30, you'd get the third LP, which would then give you all 12 songs that we'd written and recorded for Babel. But the idea being that Babel wasn't complete until you'd gotten those other 3 songs, and then that made it Babel, Confusion of Tongues. And so this was all mapped out on the calendar with dates. If you bought the deluxe edition, you got all these LPs later, which didn't think about at the time, but like the shipping cost of sending out 33 LPs 3 times, like that was expensive and probably not worth it from a money-making standpoint. But who needs to make money in this?
No one. And like, if you have a good idea and you can actually get it done, why not do it?
So I know this was in my brain, and I think I had to try to articulate it to everybody else. Wilson was on board. Jared was on board. I think you and Joey were probably the most skeptical.
I was, yeah. Joey and I were skeptical because I thought, why are we going to hold out on some good tunes? Why are we going to just like make them hidden and people have to wait to get them?
Yeah. Which I think because you felt that way was exactly why I felt like it was a good idea. Because it's so out of left field. Like, who releases singles after an album's out?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody does that.
So I was like, I think this is a really good idea. And the fact that Mark thinks that way means it must be totally unique. So I just have to figure out how to convince him that it's a good idea. And I don't think I convinced you until we did it.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Right.
Because didn't we play Monarch in our set before it was
well,
out?
we did. We'd played it before anybody had heard it.
Yeah.
It was we played it at Postfest, part of the tour. Yeah. And nobody had heard it.
Right.
Which I thought would be an interesting experiment just to see if people were paying attention. And nobody was. Nobody recognized. So anyway, like the whole concept of Babel, it was so heady.
Very heady.
It was so out there, and I think it's really hard to like explain from start to finish. I think we'll just kind of like remember things as we talk it through, because it was so obscure in the way in which we put it together. And who knows how it was interpreted from the outside. We pulled it off, but man, there were a lot of speed bumps along the way.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, subscribe to the Ranges Patreon to hear more episodes.